I'm back to share more delicious Southeast Asian recipes with you that I have mastered over the years.
That is really good.
Inspired by the food that we cooked in my parents' Chinese restaurant. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Party time! And my travels. Bounce back, bounce back. These favourites are so simple to cook at home. Hello, Mama. Oh my God. So it's time to get your wok on.
Rice is the royalty of Asian cooking.
It is better than a potato. It is better than pasta. It is better than any other carbohydrate out there. An Asian house without rice is a house without love, without question. I'm the youngest of our family. I'm 46 now, but when I go back and I see my family, I have to serve the rice to everybody else because I am serving respect, I am serving love, and I'm serving gratitude to every single one of them.
Today, I'm going to show you 3 classic rice dishes that are eaten at family tables across Asia. A dim sum packed with irresistible flavours and steamed in a lotus leaf. And a simple Japanese rice bowl that's the ultimate in comfort food. But first, a delicious savoury rice porridge that takes me back to my childhood.
In Asia, without question, the most popular dish is the most simple and the cheapest to make. It's called congee, or juk, or porridge. It has so many different names. Now, it doesn't matter which country you go to, there is a version of this. And it's basically a rice soup. I was literally raised on congee. My mum makes it better than my dad. That's the only dish in the world that my mum makes better than my dad, I'm gonna be really honest, but her congee is so delicious. I have so much respect for this very simple, very easy dish.
I'm using sushi rice for this congee.
So this is my leftover rice from yesterday. It's going into a saucepan, and I'm gonna apologize now for how simple this dish is because it is so easy.
Break up the rice, then cover with warm water and throw in some slivers of ginger to flavour.
I'm also going to use some of these, which are dried scallops. You don't need very much.
Dried scallops cost up to £300 a kilo, but thankfully, you only need around £6 worth, and there are cheaper options.
You can use dry squid if you want to. You can actually just use some anchovies out of a tin. They'll give you the same kind of salty, fishy flavour at the bottom.
Turn up the heat for 10 minutes, letting the flavours infuse the rice, whilst it reduces to the texture of a sticky porridge.
Okay, so now, as you can see, bubble, bubble, bubble. I'm going to add in some Chinese mustard greens. Now, these are pickled. These are a specialist ingredient. You don't have to put them in. You can just put in some pak choy, anything you can get from the supermarket. But I'm going to use these because Mum uses them. Oh, my God. Salty and pickly and gorgeous. I'm also going to add in some white fish, just some cod. And now, I'm really respectfully going to chop through this cod. Now, this is a flaky white fish. It's going to fall apart. So I'm just going to put chunks in, about that big. I'm going to lay that on the top and let the bubbling do its job. That literally smells of home. Ginger, the dried scallops, the rice. It's just so beautiful. Love in a pot.
Back in the village, my family ate their porridge plain, but eat it at a fancy restaurant, and there will be a huge range of delicious toppings.
So I'm gonna do a nice little collection. I'm gonna do just some salted peanuts. Now remember, your base here is really, really simple. We're not gonna call it bland, we're gonna call it simple. So salted nuts are gonna work. I have actually used salt and vinegar nuts before by accident, and it was amazing. So don't be afraid of that.
Tinned sweet corn is ideal, but only if you char it first. It gives it a nutty edge to its sweetness.
You just kind of want that almost to burn a little bit. Dolly's getting very excited just here. She loves this. She loves Gok. Whatever I've got left over, she loves licking out the bowl. She's properly a Wan. Dolly Wan. Okay.
The tartness of pickled Daikon radish is another perfect flavouring for congee.
You get this a lot in Japanese cookery. I love this. And I'm going to add this to my Gok as well, because that's going to have a nice little pickly crunch to it. So then you want just anchovies in oil, and 1 or 2 of those.
There's one final topping that can't be ignored.
No spring onions in congee is like going running without a bra run. You don't want it to happen.
The toppings are ready, the sweet corn is charred. I'm almost good to go.
Just give that a nice little move. Get those flavours in. Oh my God.
We're looking for a porridge consistency.
I reckon I'm going to give this 3 more minutes for Myra Wan, my mum. My mum is just a massive hug in an apron, and this is a loving dish. And there is no way that I cannot cook this without thinking of my mum and thinking of my family. And it's bizarre, when I go home now from a really busy working week, I'll call my mum and mum will say, what do you want cooking? And it will be this. This is exactly what I want. And it's the cheapest, most unfanciest dish, but it's just completely dripping in affection. The world's greatest dish is ready. Look at that. Okay, I've got some fish, I've got some mustard greens. I don't want the ginger, but I do want some of that scallop. Oh, there you are. There you are. Now I'm going to add some spring onions, some corn, some peanuts, and the soy sauce.
It's easy to see why this comforting dish has hugged the world for around 3,000 years.
Mum, every single gift you've given me, this is your greatest. It's perfect. The rice, it's healthy, it's fresh, that ginger, all those gorgeous little toppings. Finished off by the soy sauce and the spring onions. I need a private moment. Law my guy. Sticky glutinous rice, packed full of goodness and flavour, wrapped in a lotus tea leaf and steamed, is genuinely one of my family's favourite things to eat. Traditionally, we would eat this dish at dim sum. Dim sum is just a collection of little pockets of food, often served in steamers, and you would only get 2 or 3 of each item in each one. And the whole idea of eating dim sum is to spend time with your friends or your family and eat as long as you possibly can, drinking cups after cups of Chinese tea. It's very simple, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So I would say create this dish when you want to think about your loved ones. Create this dish when you want to spend a bit of time at your cooker. It's almost like meditation. It's a beautiful dish.
The foundation of this classic dim sum dish is glutinous rice, which needs to soak for at least 4 hours.
And the difference between glutinous rice and a standard rice is glutinous rice is 3 times stickier. So if you imagine when we've steamed this dish, the rice is literally going to hold itself together in tiny little clumps on your chopsticks.
Once cooked, the rice will be mixed with a mushroom filling, ginger, garlic and spring onion.
So let's get our veg chunky.
Then a can of water chestnuts, which will add much needed texture to the soft mix.
They taste quite muddy, but the beauty is that they've got this crunch and they hold their crunch throughout all the cooking. And so they're really good because Chinese like the idea of having texture and difference. Okay, that's probably about enough.
I'm making my lo mai gai vegetarian, but it's often made with lapchong, aka Chinese sausage.
We are so used to having meals that are just vegetarian like this. It's as part of our normal upbringing, really.
Mushrooms are the backbone of the filling, and I can't get enough of them. The shiitake will carry the most flavour, and I'm using fresh ones and dried ones.
So I'm literally going to squeeze out that water. These have been soaking overnight. And once I've done that, I'm going to slice these through. And the reason why I'm using 2 different types of shiitake mushroom is because the flavour is completely different in a dried one. These are my mum's favourite vegetable. Rice day is a little bit of a mum's day, actually. I'm a bit of a mummy's boy today. And I'm going to leave these probably the outside as bigger strips because I want them to be the hero. Okay.
The oyster mushrooms have a far more subtle flavour, but that's OK, as the last ingredient is the punchier bamboo shoots.
Really beautiful flavour. I think they taste like sweet corn. There's a bit of a sweet corny milkiness to them. Really, really nice. Another little depth. That does look lovely. Look at that. That's a vegetarian's delight, that is.
Wok on. And remember, this is a gentle cook. Onions and garlic in.
Your sauce and your mushrooms and all your veg has to be double the intensity as you would eat as a plain dish because we're about to mix that with all of that glutinous rice. So you're going to lose half of that flavour as it mixes with the rice. Watching the heat of that wok, I'm now going to get just all my veg in. Oh, that ginger's strong. Lovely. Right. OK, so this is all cooking down nicely. My rice is bubbling away.
For another layer of texture, peanuts will do the job, followed by some five spice.
Half a teaspoon, not very much. We don't want this to be overpowering.
Time to add my wets.
We're going to start with shaoxing. We want just a little splash in. Oh, hello, now we're having dim sum.
A splash of light soy and a tickle of dark soy, which will colour the rice.
This is a mushroom soy sauce, or you can get like a vegetarian oyster sauce. All these have got salts in, so you've got to be very careful.
A dash of Madeira to sweeten it all up, then a splash of the remaining shiitake liquid.
Delicious. Right, let's have a little taste. Oh, yeah, that is intense.
Last in are the glamorous enoki mushrooms.
I've left these mushrooms to the end because these will cook really quickly. They're very, very fine. Oh, yeah, look at that now. Look at all of that gorgeousness.
It's ready. While still warm, gently mix into the cooked glutinous rice.
And get that all completely combined.
And now it's the fun bit, making law my guy by wrapping the rice in lotus leaves to create neat little parcels.
You have to soak them for as long as you can and respect them because they're actually really delicate.
These fragrant dried leaves are easy to find in a Chinese supermarket or online, so give it a go.
Have you ever had lotus tea? Oh, it basically smells like a black tea. It's like a normal tea that we would drink, an English breakfast. And it's got all of that at the top. And then it's got a perfume underneath it. They're so unique and they are so gorgeous. And I'm just going to cut out some of the hard veins because they're going to make the rolling a little bit tricky.
Spoon the mixture into the leaf.
This is hardly food, this is art, creating something so beautiful. OK, so over. Just take our time with it. We can relax. That's exactly what dim sum is. Yes. And then I'm just going to snip just underneath. Very pleased. Look at that. What a gift. Feel quite emotional. Done. All wrapped up. My gifts of rice. And I'm going to leave that now 15 minutes to let that tea do its magic. I think, for me, wrapping up the Lor Mai Gai in the lotus leaves with the string is such a beautiful thing to do. Where else in food do you get to physically make presents, gifts? Totally worth it. Asia is absolutely awash with single pot wonders of rice product. And I absolutely love eating my entire meal from one bowl. And I'm gonna make a dish now which is so beautiful and so easy. Basically, it's a chicken omelette on rice. I mean, what's not to love? But there's some really nice complex flavors through there. The dish is called Oyakodon, and it's from Japan. And Oyakodon translates as parent and child.
First job is to prep the foundation of this super simple traditional lunch bowl, the rice.
Now, I've already cooked this through. This is sushi rice, short grain rice. Rice comes in 3 different versions, short, medium, and long. The Chinese use long grain, the Japanese tend to use short grain. Already boiled up. All I'm gonna do is add a dash of this mirin to the rice, and it just gives it a really unique sweetness. And believe it or not, it works. Just mix that around, and then that can just sit. Rice is done.
The chicken thighs are poached in dashi, a seafood stock used as the base in a lot of Japanese food, including miso soup.
I buy it as a powder because it keeps in the cupboard for ages and ages. I'm gonna put a glug of light soy. Next up, some hot water. We'll give that a nice good mix. And that, for me, believe it or not, I will very often just use with a bowl of noodles, instant noodles. It's a great soup base.
To help boost the liquid stock, a white onion and some spring onions will add a mild sweetness.
They're gonna go in the bottom of our stock, but also I'm gonna keep some behind to sprinkle on top of the dish. Okay, so our stock is now going in.
The stock can now simmer whilst the chicken thighs are prepped.
So I'm gonna take my chicken thigh and I'm gonna tenderize it just by giving it a bit of a bash, because when this sits on top of the rice, what you don't wanna be doing, you don't wanna be having to really fight for the chicken. You want it to kind of fall apart. Hey, Dodo. Okay, lovely. Nice little bash. Dolly's not even flinching. She's so used to this noise in my kitchen.
Once flattened, add the chicken to the sweet and salty stock.
And you want this to poach, I would probably say, for, depending on how thick the thigh is, probably around 6 to 7 minutes. Lovely. And now just turn that down a little bit so she doesn't boil over.
The top layer for this century-old dish is the omelette, which represents the child. How beautiful is that?
2 eggs per person, I'd say. Bit of salt, bit of white pepper.
To spice up my omelette, onions and chilies.
Peas, frozen peas, delicious. Quite a few. I love a pea. Nice and sweet.
Keep an eye on the chicken.
Gorgeous, doing really well. Poaching through. I think sometimes the most interesting food is the most simple because it's elegant. And when it's elegant, you can taste every single flavour. Okay, so this is in. Let's make our omelette. You want there to be a softness to the egg if you can get it. Right, okay. It's all kind of prepped now. Look at this. We've got our rice already done with our mirin. We've got our chicken poaching. We've got our omelette cooking through, and we've got our toppings as well. It's so simple. And now this is a layering service.
Traditionally, the omelette is served slightly runny, but it's down to personal taste.
So I'm just gonna slice my omelette. So I'm gonna do a layer of the rice, a layer of the poached chicken, and then a layer of the omelette on top, and then all the little garnishes. I'm just moulding the rice. I don't know who taught me this. It must have been Dad. If it wasn't Dad, Dad's taking the credit anyway, but there you go. Gorgeous. Putting some of our gorgeous dashi and soy broth onto that rice. Oh, yes. But the best part of making this is building your own little sandwich with the sauce, seaweed. It's so, so, so delicious. Rice, the oldest ingredient we eat, yet I think the best ingredient we eat. So gorgeous, so pure, so versatile, so honest, and so easy to cook. Whether it's my mum's congee, or whether it's lo mai gai, or simply an omelette with chicken on top of rice. It doesn't matter. Genuinely, so delicious. Get your rice on.